Oh, hey, welcome to an updated coloring workflow with Ben.
Everything changes every which way. You got
All right, today we're gonna talk about my updated coloring workflow with the Nikon ZR, or really any camera. But before we get into that, I actually wanna talk about what this channel is all about, community. And this video is a perfect representation of that. This video is a product of constructive criticism in the comments. If you look back, I did a video on my coloring workflow with the Nikon ZR and pretty much any camera. It was pretty much slapping a LUT at the very last node that already had a Rec. 709 transform in it, and then kind of working backwards. And a few people in the comments suggested to me that I should use color transforms to put everything into DaVinci wide gamut and then output to a Rec. 709. I started doing that and it works out really nicely. Those people commented with constructive criticism. They were friendly suggestions that I tried out and I actually ended up liking this workflow better. Although I'm not a professional colorist, I'm always looking for ways to improve pretty much any area of my work. And being that I do often color some of my own footage, it's always beneficial for me to keep learning. To me, that's a reflection of how the industry actually works in Los Angeles and abroad. Me and my peers are constantly learning from each other and growing. And that's exactly what I want this channel to be about, which brings me to my next topic: trolls, rude comments, and blanket statements. As you know, I am growing this channel and I want to produce more content this year. Side note, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of cool things coming out this year. And with more subs and more views comes more comments. And some of these comments are constructive criticism. Now, some of the other comments, albeit very few, are trolls. Now, we don't like trolly comments for obvious reasons. They're rude and there's just nothing really to gain from them. And if this sounds like I'm calling people out, I'm really not. I'm actually trying to offer advice, which I'll get to in a second. I've worked on indie, low budget stuff all the way to the biggest Hollywood sets. I've worked with green directors all the way up to Academy Award nominated DPs. And if there's one thing all of us have in common within that whole range, is we don't leave trolly comments on random YouTube videos. And even in real life, we're generally not rude and we don't shit on other people's work. Something we do, Hey, yeah, I just said do on a YouTube video. I know, I know. Okay, all right, love you, Mom, bye. Something we do is offer constructive criticism and positive feedback to help people grow and to learn from each other. The other stuff, there's just not space for it. The other thing we really don't do is blanket statements. That's to say, this is the best camera, or this is the only way to do something. Because we understand there are tons of different ways to do something and everyone has their own individual workflow, even on the highest end. Now that comes with a caveat. Of course you don't want to gaff tape a camera to a car. So yes, there are better ways to do things, but that's why we exchange ideas and learn from each other and grow. So if you do want to leave trolly comments or blanket statement comments, no one's gonna stop you. I just wanna let you know on my channel, I'll probably just delete them. And if you are doing that kind of thing, there's a couple things you should know. One, anyone in the actual industry, we do not take those comments seriously. We usually brush them off and assume that you're probably just not where you wanna be at in your career and you're mad about it. And two, we look at that stuff and we won't hire you. And this is where the advice comes in. If you're doing that kind of thing, it actually can affect the type of work that you get. So like I said, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. If it helps you sleep at night, I'm not sure how it could, but hats off to you. But it could be affecting your career in ways that you don't even know about. So if you're on my channel, let's try and keep it to constructive criticism and helping each other out, even me. Which brings us full circle to what this video is about, a new and improved color workflow for the Nikon ZR. So let's get into it.
everything changes every which way.
All right, so we have DaVinci open here with some clips in here, just some like kickboxing clips. This is Nikon ZR Red footage. And then just to show you different workflows, we also have some Canon C50 footage. All right, in my old workflow, what I told you guys I would do is create 4 nodes or so. I would go to my LUTs, and I would just kind of slap a film bias to Rec. 709 LUT on this node. And then I would sort of work backwards. And you guys, some of you guys, said, hey, don't do that. There's better ways. And I said, okay, let's try them out. So now we use color space transforms. So first thing I'm gonna do is go to my project settings and color management. We're in DaVinci YRGB, and our output is Rec. 709 Gamma 2.4. Also, given the nature of this video, I should caveat, this is just how I'm doing it. I'm sure there's hundreds of different ways and probably better ways to do this type of stuff, but here's my new workflow. So the new workflow is color space transforms. So we're gonna create 4 nodes, kind of like we did before. And we're gonna slap a color space transform on the first one. And then we're just going to go select what it is. So we're in the red wide gamut and red log 3G 10. And then we're gonna go to the DaVinci wide gamut and DaVinci intermediate. And people suggested this because rightfully so, DaVinci wide gamut has the largest color space in DaVinci. So it's gonna be more flexible in terms of grading. Then we're gonna go to our last node and do a similar thing, a color space transform. Now we're in DaVinci wide gamut, DaVinci intermediate, and you'll see the image changed because we're already in a Rec. 709 output in our timeline. But just to be safe, we're gonna put that here as well. Gamma 2.4. All right, so now we have a Rec. 709, and you can see it just applied to the one clip we are working on because we're in the clip space, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. So there's a few things we can do from here. We can grab a still, and we can see our still here, and we can select, other clips we might want to apply this to and press apply grade. And it will apply this color grade to our other footage. But we're going to delete that right now. The other thing we could do, so we can go ahead and grab this still, and you can see we can also move it into power grade, and we can call this, red CST, color space transform. And now our power grades will come with us to any project that we work on. They'll be pre-saved. So now we can just go on any of these clips, go to our power grade, and it can apply this grade. So that's one way to do it, okay? And then from here, we can work backwards and we can adjust whatever it is we would like to adjust. And for those saying the Nikon ZR dynamic range is not very good, I would say this is pretty good. We are completely seeing outside this window. We are seeing details in the shadows. Everything looks nice. We can mess with the camera raw settings. We can go to clip here. Maybe maybe that's a little too warm. Maybe there's too much of a green tint. We can kind of get it in a nice space right here. All right, so that looks nice. So that's one way to do it. But you are just going clip to clip to clip. And this does make things faster if you have your power grade. But you're still doing it clip by clip. So let's do another way real quick. And this is the way I've learned to prefer. We're gonna go ahead and we see all these clips here are red. We're gonna go ahead and add these into a new group. We're gonna call this red. We'll just call it red, keep it easy. So these are in the red group. And you'll see some new dots formed up here. So we're gonna go to group pre-clip, and we're gonna do a color space transform on this group pre-clip. And we're gonna output to DaVinci intermediate. And now you'll see, it's kind of hard to tell because we're still in a log state, but this applied, you can see here in the group pre-clip, this applied to all of these clips automatically. Then we're gonna go into the timeline section. And in our timeline, we're gonna create a node and we're gonna put color space transform on this node. And we're gonna output DaVinci wide gamut, DaVinci intermediate to Rec. 709. And now you can see this applied to every clip in the group, the red group. And then if we go to our clip setting, now we can do our individual grades in the clip setting. So we can manage any of the other color in here without messing with this group pre-clip or this end timeline result. So all of our color grading can just do in the clip level, and we can just go by clip, create some nodes and just make any adjustments that we may want to make. And here, this is where I'd usually do contrast here. In my second node, I'd probably mess with temperature and tint. And in my first node, I would do things like add some noise reduction. And if you happen to have different camera clips, let's check out what that looks like. So these are Canon RAW, right? So same thing, add into a new group. We'll call this Canon. And now you can see we already have an output to Rec. 709 from DaVinci. What we don't have is a group pre-clip that's specific to the Canon. So we'll do the same thing. We're going from Canon Cinema Gamut, this is Canon Log 2, to DaVinci Wide Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate. And now our Canon clips are also set up to a Rec. 709 color space transform specific to the Canon color science, and these are specific to the red color science. And we'll go back to clip here, and now we have everything in a clip setting. We can just go one by one and make our adjustments. Now the other cool thing you can do, let's take this clip for example. That looks pretty nice, but maybe there's a certain look I want to put on it. We could do it after this node, or what we could do if we want to apply it to everything, go back to our timeline. We're going to do Shift S to create a node before our output into Rec. 709. And this is where we can apply our LUT. So as before, I told you guys I like the film bias LUT. Let's make this like a bleach bypass just to show a stronger look here. And we can go ahead and add this to the node before the timeline. And this gives us our LUT look that has applied to all of the red footage. It's also applied to the Canon footage. So keep that in mind. This is going to apply to everything, which is where you might want to do this in the clip setting, which would be just doing it on your last node here. But if all of your footage is red, let's pretend all of it is, you can add this bleach bypass look to your end result here. Now you'll see what I was doing before is LUTs that already have a Rec. 709 transform in them. And you'll see here, if I applied that, it's double LUTing our footage. It's outputting a Rec. 709 space and doubling up on that Rec. 709 space. So way too strong. But the Red Creative LUTs package does offer the LUTs that do not have a Rec. 709 transform built into them. The other thing you could do, which I've been playing a lot with lately, is use a film emulation plugin. The one I use is called Dehancer. Full disclosure, this video is sponsored by Dehancer, but they want me to be completely unbiased. They have no say in my comments on this video about their product, but I do happen to love it. Dehancer is an incredibly powerful plugin tool to help you get a bunch of different film looks and really elevate your footage. So let's look at a couple different ways you can use Dehancer within this color workflow. The first way we're going to do it is, let's say you want a film look applied to all of your footage, the same look. Instead of the clip section, you want to go to timeline, create a node after your Rec. 709 output, go down to Dehancer Pro and add Dehancer Pro, and you'll see here in source it says Rec. 709, and we're able to do that because all of our clips have a Rec. 709 output already. So let's go to this clip here because I'm quite fond of it. Let's just go to maybe when he's sitting down. And then from there, we can choose from a ton of different film stocks, and there's some really cool ones in here. We can go for a strong, maybe the Ilford black and white look. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna go with the Fuji Eterna because I do actually really love that film stock. And then we can make adjustments in Dehancer to a ton of different things. We can add halation, we can add highlight blooming. I'll just turn this all the way up so we get a really bold look. And you can see that it applies to every clip, including our Canon RAW clips, even though these are different camera profiles, because we are outputting from a general Rec. 709 anyway. So this is going to apply to all of our footage. And now, look at this. We have this awesome vintage sort of film stock look that I am quite fond of. And there is no end to this plugin. You can mess with so much. Film developer, film compression, the print, obviously the grain, you can really bump that up and get a crazy look if you want, but we're gonna lower that back down. The bloom, film damage, overscan, vignette, you just have so many options in here. So highly recommend downloading a trial version and just messing with this program, because it's kind of an endless rabbit hole of cool looking stuff. And a quick side note, if you are interested in Dehancer, you can use the code Meredith and get 10% off, which is a pretty good deal. If you don't really like this workflow, or maybe you want different looks for each clip, let's just go ahead and delete all of these. Let's just delete everything. We're gonna go ahead and delete the group pre-clip on here too. We're just back to a log state and everything. We're gonna get rid of our LUTs here, go back to gallery, and let's see how Dehancer works if you're just doing it clip by clip. So we're just gonna go back to the clip setting. We'll just be in the clip settings here. We're gonna delete these nodes. We're just gonna add one. We can always create more behind it if we want to backtrack. And we're gonna just put Dehancer on the last node here. Our timeline's already set to a Rec. 709 output. So here we can actually choose our individual camera, and that is the Nikon ZR, and it's going to apply the film looks in direct relation to that camera, the camera profile, and the color science that it's working in. So now we are working in the Nikon ZR Red Log 3G10 color space with these looks. And then from here, do the same thing. We can go through a bunch of different looks. I kind of like the Kodak 50D, the Vision 3. And just to show you guys, how powerful this program is, I love just halation and bloom. We can really amplify that. But the other cool thing we can do is, let's say you don't want that strong of a film look. Well, we just disable it. And essentially this is acting as a somewhat of a Rec. 709 output, but with the ability to control these other things. So maybe we take the film grain off too, and now look at what we have. We have this very clean red footage, but we are able to add halation and bloom and adjust the footage in that way without any kind of film stock look. But I like the film stock look, so we can just add that back in along with the grain. And you'll see it only applied to that one clip. So again, we can create a still, we can move this to a power grade, or we can just apply this look to the other footage if we'd like. And maybe this look is too strong, but that's where we can kind of go backwards in the node tree, and we can adjust our highlights, maybe we can boost our shadows a little bit. And in Dehancer, we can also just do the overall output. We can just adjust that. Now, obviously, that's going to be going from a log image, so we don't want to do that too strong, but you can adjust that here. But if we were in our Rec. 709 color space, like the workflow we used before, you can go down to total impact and just adjust how strong you want that look baked into this footage. And same thing can be said for this one. We would just choose a different camera. We do a Canon. The C50 is not in here yet, but we'll just go with the C80. C-Log 2, and same kind of deal here. Yeah, we can add a nice bloom, add a nice halation, and get a nice look on here. So that's my new color workflow, or a variety of different workflows depending on the types of projects you're doing. Even though I said what I said earlier in the video, I'm sure plenty of you guys will disagree with how I'm doing this. But hey, if it works for me and it works for my clients, then we're good to go. But as always, I do like to invite constructive criticism and different ways of doing things on this channel so we can all learn from each other. So feel free to comment away. I hope maybe you guys learned something, and I will see you on the next one. No, I wasn't kidding. I actually said doo-doo.